I'm actually excited. I'm on at 12 o'clock. What? Oh, good morning, good afternoon. We'll say evening, depending on where you are. Oh, man. Oh, man. Hey! Hey, there's some friends. Oh, we even have our guest. She's in. She's in. I'm excited about today. I'm excited about every single conversation, though, truly. Every single conversation is a great conversation. Oh man, I tell you, and this one is dear to my heart for so many reasons. I'm gonna let Claire hit the little request to join, because sometimes when I request it, it gets all wonky and everything. Hey, there's some more friends. All right, love it, love it. Today's a great day thus far. I'm a person who loves a good challenge, and so I do. I have a water rower. It was my husband's, but I've taken it over. And there's a challenge every month, and this month the first wave of the challenge is to row 30,000 meters. Let me just tell you that's a lot. So just in case, 30,000 meters is a lot, right? And you get like mad kudos if you do like 100,000 meters. Woo! I did an hour today, 11,000 meters. I am feeling it all up in here. I am feeling it. But it's okay though, because I am here for it. I am here for it. Today, hold on, let me see if I can get her in. Okay.
Uh-oh. Get out of there. Get out of there. There it is. There it is. Yes. Yes.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, good morning. There was a request to join button from my computer, so we're going to pivot and switch to my phone. Okay, that's fine.
You know what? We like to pivot. Pivoting is good.
Hey, keeps you on your toes, keeps you young. I think that keeps you young.
It most definitely keeps you young. So while you were getting yourself together, I am going to, we will do some introductions, but I'm not going to lie and say that Claire doesn't have like a dear place in my heart. I would be a horrible liar. And since we've been talking about being authentic, the last thing I should not do is not be authentic and say just how much I love Claire.
Aww.
For all the reasons. I mean, it's bad enough that like you're on my bulletin board over here, so I see your face every day. Although I don't see your face every day, I see your face every day. But let me give you some quick background, just a little bit of authenticity, as we say. So I'm celebrating 5 years of marriage in September. And when my husband proposed to me in the parking lot of Steak and Shake in Louisville, it was in the middle of the night. And we had both agreed that I would not tell anyone that I was engaged until he had the chance to ask my father, right? And so I'm sitting in my apartment like, oh my God, I can't hold it for a whole week. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I thought, who can I talk to who won't talk to anybody else I know to keep the secret that I am engaged? And so I called Claire in a whole other time zone and woke her up. And I was like, I got engaged. Oh. So it was like I had to tell somebody. And so I figured, let me go ahead and share that because you do have a dear place in my heart. Hey, we got another request. Should I bring on this other person?
Who is it? Yeah.
Hold on.
Are you
Hold on.
with something? Who is it?
I don't know. Let's see here. Who do we? Let's see if we can get this other person in our deal here. Let's see. We'll let all the technology things work themselves out, because stuff gets all kind of funny. But let us start with some basics. First of all, good morning, because it is morning where you are.
Yes.
But we want to know, who are you? Who are you? And tell us about your business.
Yeah. My name is Claire Elyse. I am the owner of Clearbox Clear Space. I do organization. I'm a professional organizer, and I help people who are chronically busy find relief and happiness through strategic organization systems that work to support both their work life and their home life. So harmony and balance through organization. I started my business like a week before the pandemic, maybe 2 weeks before the pandemic started.
I don't think I knew that. I didn't know that.
You want to talk about a big pivot? I actually came into starting my business as, I don't want to say a fluke, but it was a little bit of kismet. I have a close friend who lives here with me where we're stationed, and I was over at her house one day, and she runs a bakery business online. And she asked me if I wanted to help her in her group teach her bakers how to get organized, right? Because she helps support bakers who are wanting to grow their bakery business. And she was looking to expand her trainings to also include social media help. And since a lot of bakers, especially when they're first starting out, are running their business from their home kitchen, it can get really cluttered really fast and really hard to separate work from home. And there are a lot of specific things that you have to have when you have a cottage bakery, a home bakery. So, so I said, yeah, sure, let's try this out. And I remember my very first Facebook Live. I was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. What am I doing? It was very awkward. I was just in my office talking to this nobody, right? But I got more comfortable with it, and I loved it. And then one of the bakers from the group approached me to offer, she wanted me to offer her some one-on-one services, and she couldn't, hire me fast enough, right? I was like, oh, I'm not ready. And she's like, no, yes, you are. Please come help me. And I'm like, okay. And so I did, and it was wonderful. And, and we're still friends to this day. It's just been so wonderful helping her. I started out helping her with her kitchen, and now I'm helping her with her whole house. And after that, I had other bakers wanting me to help, and then I expanded out of the kitchen to offer my services to other people who needed them as well. So I currently offer virtual organization, room and closet design services, organization coaching, and then hopefully in the fall we are moving, big military move coming up, and with the area that we'll be in the what's it called? Where am I moving to?
Well, somewhere.
The Olympia, Tacoma, Washington area. If I give you the name of the base, it's not going to mean anything to anybody. So I'm like, wow, that means nothing to anybody. The Olympia, Tacoma, Washington area. I'm hoping to be able to offer in-home services in the fall. Yay!
Nice. I can get down with that. Let me just say that I have, you and I come from a well-organized background. And so even though I find myself to be well-versed in it, I am always looking to evolve and also find more tips, because my life has changed, right? Like things that I did beforehand don't necessarily work in this current season. That's one of the buzzwords, season, in this current season of my life. So I know I've been dragging some of your tips. I'm a little slow. I'm not going to lie on that. I'm a little slow on pulling the trigger on some things, but there is a little list of all the things that I need to put in place. So what I thought was really eye-opening is that it's more than just getting organized. You are helping business owners who are managing all the things get it together and create systems for them. Now, I don't want to. Let's start with that first, because I want to leave the fun stuff, the organization stuff at the end.
Okay.
This managing life as a business owner, and when I really thought about it, even managing relationships, overall relationships as a person, be you single, married, with kids, without kids, whatever, that's a lot. Because you are literally juggling 2 jobs, sometimes 3 if you're working the full-time job and the small business and all your relationships. Like that's quite a bit. It is quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yes. And let us not forget, in all of that, there is still a place, but you have to take care of you.
Yes.
That is still in there too.
Definitely.
So let's see. Let's start with, where do I want to start? Do
Yeah.
I want to start with, I don't like, because here's the deal. I kid you not. I was on Twitter this morning. I tried to go through like all the social media this morning, and there was a young lady. She's also a photographer, and she had made a tweet. I should have copied this tweet, should like screenshot it. But she said, "I am working the full-time job. I'm also a photographer. I have my own bag brand. I want to do all these things before I have kids." And then I thought, okay, I'm going to make a Gwendolyn statement because Gwendolyn has a thing about making statements. So Claire has no part of this. You know how they say that this is not very. I thought to myself, how many men have to make that statement, right? Because it does feel like you're taking everything on when you're when you're a woman. So let's just start with deciding to create the business. Did you think, and in that moment, how are you going to manage the marriage, the motherhood, and just taking care of yourself?
In the moment, yes and no. No, because here's a little shameless brag. I married a wonderful man who helps to support me, even like, I shouldn't say even before, because let's start at the beginning. Staying at home, being a stay-at-home mom is work, and taking care of a home, being a homemaker is work. If it wasn't, you would be able to hire other people to do that work, right? And so, but even though I had taken on the majority of the domestic duties, my husband still helps out a lot. Like, there are a lot of things that we just share. We both love to cook, so we both cook. There's chores that we both do, and yes, I've taken over a larger share of the child rearing and home making, but that just naturally falls in place because I'm here more, right? It makes sense. But with starting the business, I knew that I would have that support from him in the things that I need to do. Babe, can you do bath time? I have a little bit of stuff that I need to work on. Can you do dinner tonight? I'm really just too tired and I have to work on this project. Whatever it is, there is that give and take. I think the only thing that has been a struggle is just working around the military schedule. Because the military, it's like military first and then home and then me, right? So just working around that schedule, it requires us to be creative, especially here where we're at. It's been a little bit of a struggle with the military schedule. But other than that, I've always known that I have the support. And I had been wanting to start a blog for years, but I hadn't, because I didn't really know what it was I wanted to write about. It's like, I kind of liked a little bit of this, I kind of liked a little bit of that. But as soon as my light bulb got turned on, when my friend had asked me to join her with the baking group, it was like, I wrote it on the mirror. It's organization, like, duh, it's like, it's an organization blog, right? So after I started thinking of those ideas, everything else just kind of sparked off of there. And I think that the thing that has really helped us make it work is that we have complete open communication. Like, all throughout the day, we know what each other is doing. We lean on each other when we need help with things, and we, I don't know, we really enjoy being together and helping each other. Is that?
No, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I literally wrote down, when you said that, I wrote down supportive partners, because I feel like you, my husband, even in 2016, before we were married, he was like, you should just take this full time. And I thought, nah, partner, no. But he has always been like the rah, rah, rah cheerleader, who honestly, I believe that sometimes believes in me more than I believed in myself. You know what I mean? And so having a supportive partner and having those great lines of communication, I'm just going to say blessed, because I have met other persons, both men and women, who don't have a supportive partner, spouse, boo, bae, whatever. And it makes it really hard to go for your dreams because you got this other person saying something else. And added stress that you don't need. I mean, you're already kind of like, I got to fight imposter syndrome first, and then all this other stuff, and then you adding on.
Yeah.
I can't. So having a supportive partner, that is truly a blessing. So yeah, if you can marry the right person, you can find the right person, kudos. But even if you do that, the fact that you have this constant communication. So do you guys ever sit down? I don't want to get too into your business. I want all your pillow talk. but is there a place maybe out on the patio, on the family walk, where you talk about your family dreams and how your business is part of that?
I wouldn't say that
Because he's still in the military, like, yeah.
Right. I wouldn't say that there's like a big sit down about it, but it does come up frequently when we talk. We're both very excited about the area that we're going to because I really want to be in homes. I think that I have a lot to offer, and I think that being hands-on, especially with the organization coaching, being hands-on in someone's house is so much more effective because you're there with them, you're there with them to help them through the roadblocks and talk through the things that are keeping them attached to their things, that are making it such a hard process to be able to work through stuff. And I feel like, we talk about our forever home a lot because we both are looking to put down roots after that. We both moved a lot when we were kids. And then with being in the military, we're done. When we're done, and we want to stay put. So we definitely want to be in an area where my business could bloom because he can pretty much find work anywhere and get help, finding work once he retires. So, we really want to make sure that the place that we're at is a good market for me. And we've talked about that quite a bit. Yeah. So
can I just call out one of these comments? So this is at Build Better Bakery. Yeah.
Oh,
says,
she's the
there you go. Hello, Melissa. Thank you for getting Claire into this. She says organization can be super emotional, which is probably why I kind of suffer sometimes. But you'll be proud of me. This weekend, I got into the garage, which is like the bane of my existence. And I finally opened up one of the bags that I kind of like tossed in there when I did my retirement. And oh boy, there was some stuff in there because I've got like my whole entire history in this bag. And I'm thinking, do I still need this? Now, my husband, who is not attached to it, is like, throw it away. I was like, but this is so cute. He's like, and what would you do with it? I'm like, I don't know, but it's so cute. So yeah, I mean, it's easier when you have someone who is not attached to these things to help you. But I'm at a place where I'm not a minimalist yet. I do know I'm a memory hoarder. I have already owned up to that. But I'm also at a place where I just want to throw stuff away. Like once a month I get kind of agitated and I just want to take stuff and dump it. And I'm like, wait a minute, you might need some of this. Hold on. Let me stop before I throw everything away. But I am definitely trying to get better. I love the idea of going into homes because, like people, you do need someone to just say like, toss it. And to kind of keep you on and hold you accountable. Doing things virtually has worked for us during the pandemic. We do know that. A lot of folks have been introduced to like getting organized and starting something through virtual. But when you have that one-on-one, there is a different feel because now you feel like, oh my goodness, she's judging me and she's in my space. And if I told her any lies, she's going to see those lies right now. And so you're kind of like, I thought you said like this, I'm still in this corner. Because over here, I called myself starting to spring clean. Oh, man. Yeah.
Also, when you're in home with someone, and I joined ICD, which is the Institute for Challenging Disorganization. So during this move for the next few months, when I'm not taking any new clients while I'm moving, that would not be good, right, for anybody. But during the move, I'm like, okay, what am I going to be doing with my time? I'm going to write blog articles, and I'm also taking classes through the Institute for Challenging Disorganization so that I can learn more about Neurodiverse, working with neurodiverse people,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we have a photo
Eric was
bomber
like,
here, and working with people with different challenges. Um,
we don't mind the photo bombers. We don't mind them. We live in the real world
so
here. So,
one of the classes that I just took talked about parallel work and why people are so successful when they have a professional organizer in the home with them is that sometimes it just takes someone next to you to reaffirm that what you're doing is good and that what you're doing, that you're going through the right steps, that you're being held accountable, that you're making progress because someone's witnessing you and what you're doing, especially if you live by yourself, and that person is there to support you in case you have any questions or need help. Sometimes it just takes someone else being there with you, even if you're not working on exactly the same thing, even if it's not that person saying, do you need this notebook? Yes, no. Maybe you both are splitting up the work so that your client is going through a box and then you are helping to organize some files. Even if you're not doing exactly the same thing, sometimes it only takes, and this is why co-working sessions are blowing up online. Like, you do co-working sessions with people. Have you ever done one?
I literally heard about it like 2 weeks ago. People are like, we should do like a co-working room. And I thought, I don't understand. That's like a group project.
They're great. So you meet up, you chat for about five minutes or so, let everyone know what you're going to be working on, and then you turn off your cameras. Like, there's no cameras, no microphones or anything, but you know that you're there in the room with the people working, and it just kind of gives you that energy. I don't know how or why. It's all mental, really, because you're not even talking or anything. But it's that parallel work. Other people are working on stuff right now. You're working on stuff right now. This is your work time, and it's the same thing when you're in home with someone. Yeah.
Interesting. Erica just said it, and like if we saw her bedroom, we would be like amazing. Yeah, Erica, trust. Well, my bedroom's not so bad. I'm packing. I'm trying to do better. Okay, you either do or you don't. There is no try. Okay, so we haven't even really started. Please go ahead and be honest. Okay, Gwendolyn, check authenticity. There we go. All right, so let me go back to the partnership, and I do want to come back to that co-working thing because that'll be part of the like how we're managing all of this. But in regards to creating a schedule to make sure that everything is balanced, because as I was telling you, Gwendolyn's got a lot of irons in the fire, like a lot of irons in the fire. And at one point, I felt as if I wasn't seeing my husband enough, right? So I work in the day on like the photo stuff. He's at work, and then he comes home. We get a quick dinner, and then sometimes we would even miss dinner because I'm in like these other calls and what have you. And then I thought I got to step back from some of this because now I feel like I'm not giving enough attention to what's going on in my home. So how are you managing making sure that you're keeping it all together and that either one of your relationships, and we're talking even like your friendships, like those things aren't suffering? Like, how do you keep it balanced?
Good question. So I run on a pretty regular schedule for myself. Okay. So I wake up, I have my quiet time in the morning. My husband has to be at work really early. They do PT in the morning in the Army. So he's up at like 5:30. I'm usually up by 6:30. Sometimes we see each other when he's out the door and I'm coming down for a cup of coffee. But because here where we're at right now, we live what's called on post. So we live within the gates of the base. We actually get to see each other a lot during the day when he's not pulled out to do, tasks that require him to be gone all day. So he comes home after PT and he's there for about 30 minutes or so. And then he goes back to work, and then he comes back for lunch, and we have lunch together every day. And then he goes back to work, and then he's home for dinner. So, this is not typical of other couples, of other relationships are like, because a lot of time work doesn't match up. I think the only time it was matching up like that was when everybody was on lockdown and everybody was stuck at home together, you know?
Yeah.
But we do, and it hasn't been like this at every post that we've been at, but because he lives here, you know, we do get to take advantage of, he only works 5 minutes away from where we live. So that is an absolute blessing, because I do get to see him a bit, and that's how we check in throughout the day and everything like that. But the way that I divide up my day is that the morning time is when I really work on my business. And then after lunch, after that break, it's all kid, all family, you know, going into the dinner routine. I make sure that my daughter has really intense one-on-one with me. I turn off all my notifications. I don't have anything coming through. I don't have emails, you know, text messages, yes, obviously, but not sounds, just like, I don't have any noises coming from my phone, basically. And, you know, we make sure that we plan like something fun, something educational, you know, sometime outside if the weather permits. And then she helps, you know, with dinner and grocery shopping and all that kind of stuff. So, and then, you know, that's another thing that my husband splits with me too, is like, he'll pick up groceries. If we just need a few things, he'll go, I'll go. I think that helps a lot, having someone that supports you. This is just going to turn into like, my husband's the best husband. Oh my goodness.
No, well, no. Here's the deal. I mean, it's there is a place for partnership. There's a place for partnership, and it's not even that you want to like celebrate. I think it's great you celebrate your husband. We have Reggie here. He's like work-life balance. Yeah, because you got to have this balance. Yeah. And I mean, let's just say this. So if we go down the road of traditional, I'm going to go there. Gwendolyn's going to say it again. I'm going to put my foot in my mouth, and it's okay. Traditional has been, woman does all these things, right? She's going to, even the commercials that we see. I remember the Swiffer commercial, and I'm going to tell you, I absolutely hate it. I hate this commercial. You have this woman who is, I'm going to assume, an at-home mother. She is dressed to the nines. She got her pearls on, her cardigan, her heels. She is Swiffering, and then her child is cutting her brother's hair, right? And I'm just like, what? So there are these stereotypes that we do all the things, right? So when you have a great partner, yes, you should celebrate your partner. Like, you know, props to your husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but even if you are a single person, you may have someone that you are sharing these duties with. Like when I lived by myself in New York, I had some dear friends. We would do a group thing to make sure that everybody had time to get stuff done. It's hard. Getting everything done is hard, right? So I appreciate that your husband helps out and does stuff, and you do have a great husband, so that's okay.
So let's jump in right there, because right there, that was something that I wanted to talk about, doing all the things, right? I think one of the biggest things that I'm okay with is not doing all the things. So letting stuff drop when it needs to. Right. I think one of the best pieces of advice I got when I first started this gig was, I had dropped the ball on something, and I apologized to that person. I said, I'm so sorry I dropped the ball. She's like, that's okay. Most balls bounce. And I was like, what? So it's like, what is okay not being done today? Right. Like, does the living room I love having the living room picked up and everything put away before I go to bed. It sets me up for success in the morning. Right. It's like one of those things that makes me feel good. And that's my natural state, right? Like that's the default, is like, we're going upstairs, pick up the living room, let's go to bed, right? But sometimes it doesn't happen. Maybe we're staying up a little bit late watching a movie, or, you know, maybe we had like a really good dinner and like we just want to veg and we don't want to lift a finger. It's okay, because it's not going to be like that forever, you know? And I'm okay with letting things skip sometimes. You know, it's like, I like having the dishes done at night before I go to bed. But if they sit in the sink one night and you wake up in the morning and doing it in the morning, it's not that big of a deal, right?
You are so much better than me, because mine is sit for like 4-5 days.
It's
like they will get washed when they get washed. So,
but right. But just really like being okay, acknowledging the things that you're okay skipping that are not that important, that are not going to hurt you
Yeah.
or cause harm in your life,
Yeah.
or, you know, harm to other people. It's okay if some things get skipped so that other things that are more important, like you can't take back time with your family. Like you can't get it back. You can't get time back,
Yeah.
right? So if it comes between having a really awesome experience with my kid or my husband or both together, because that's even better, or like doing the laundry or sweeping the floor, like I'm gonna choose that. I'm gonna choose the one-on-one time. Not saying that I would, you know, it's all about balance, obviously, but just figuring out what you're okay in the moment, skipping so that you can like support your life, you know, like, because you can't do it all. And the people who can do it all have help. They have nannies, they have maids, they have people coming, you know, to do the gardening, to mow the lawn or whatever, you know. And that's another thing too, is that if you're wanting to have all of that, what are you willing to pay to get it? Because it is going to be an exchange. You physically, as one person, cannot do it all. So are you willing to pay someone else to help you do it? And that is also like, what is your time worth? I think that's a huge question to ask yourself.
Okay, I got two things I want to take out of that, because one, we know. I mean, I will often post that my house is a mess. I don't really care because ain't nobody coming here. Take it back. My clients do come, so when they come, I do clean up. You know what I'm saying? Because you know people are coming to your house and stuff. But on a regular basis, you know, like yeah. Now, I love how you have mentioned that we don't do all the things. And I'm going to say that, and I'm going to rightfully assume that I kind of have an idea about how you feel about social media. And I had just saw a snippet of, what's her name? Selena Gomez last night, about how she walked away from it because it was so ridiculous. And there are so many images out there that make it seem as if so-and-so has everything together, right? She's full face makeup, face is like glistening and whatnot. She got the lashes and stuff. And like, you know, the house is immaculate. And I'm thinking, you know, it's all about point of view. You know, you do know that, right? Or they may have the nannies and things of that nature to help them keep all this together. But there are people who don't know how to separate real life from like a story, a well-crafted story. And to those who do it, hey, kudos to you. That's your deal. I'm not hating on it. I don't really give a goddamn. But for those of us who live in the real world, it is like, you know, how do I live up to this ridiculous expectation? It's like, you don't have to. Please don't try. Like, please don't. Please don't try. It's not worth it.
Wonderful lady that I follow named Dana Mercer. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but she's like one of those few people that I don't know that I've starred to my favorites because I want to see her content every day, because every day she sends out a reminder that the internet is curated, that there are ways of posing that make your body look different, that there are apps that are, you know, other than Photoshop, there are like face tuning apps and all of these things that can change, like literally change your face.
Yeah.
And you know, that there are things out there that just aren't real. Like it's the internet is curated. It's only the highlights. It's only the parts that people want to show you. So maybe even if it isn't the highlights, maybe if it is something that's not great, it's specifically chosen, like maybe for shock value or something like that. Like people choose only what they want to show you, right? And I did the same thing. I did the same thing that Selena did. You know, last summer, my husband's father passed away, and then not too long after that, his aunt and uncle, also on his father's side, passed away. And you know, for about 6-7 months or so, I took a break. I felt overwhelmed when I came into this business. I didn't know anything, and I was barely online. I was barely on Instagram, and I only, you know, just posted little things here and there, and everything was completely locked down and completely private. And so then to be engaged online, and then have like other people find me and stuff like that. I got linked into Facebook, and Facebook just creeps me out. Like I don't, I can't, and I know they're owned by the same, I know it's the same company.
Yeah.
But something
Yeah,
about Facebook just creeps me out. And I don't know if it's because it's so much more vocal, because you can quickly make posts that are just words, you know, and
possibly.
I found that the community on Instagram is where I feel comfortable. So this is kind of like where I like to hang out. But I feel like when I came back to it, there was so much noise and so many people saying, this is what you need to do. You need to do hashtags. You need to do reels. You need to do this. You need to show up. You need to follow all of these accounts, do the blah, 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 blah. And I got looped into doing the Facebook groups. I had a group for a while on Facebook because that was, you know, where, which I have to say that I loved the community. I loved the community. I loved every single person that was in my group. I think we had a lot of fun. And I think that it's something, you know, that I would possibly look to doing again in the future, but I just hated it being on Facebook.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that. You could look at, I know they have like Slack and Discord. So there are now these other ways of doing it to where you miss out all the noise. A lot of my Facebook posts are now auto-published. I'm not on there as often. It just, because it's auto-published, it looks like I'm there. It's like, I'm not really on there, people. So I miss things. But it is noisy. There is a lot of noise. So before I go into the organization, because I want to get into that, can you just give us your best ideas, the best tips for self-care and all of this? Because you're running the business, you're managing relationships. What about you? Taking care of you?
Well, I'm a firm believer in putting the oxygen mask on yourself first. Before you help other people, you have to take care of yourself. And there's no way to pour from an empty cup, right? So if your needs are not being met, then there's no way that you can help other people. And taking a shower and like washing your face is not self-care. Those are basic hygiene things that need to happen every day. Okay, like I took a shower. No, like that is like the bare minimum that you need to do for yourself to take care of yourself. I think that it's really important to get time blocked off on the schedule, like it's an appointment, like you have to go to the doctor. Get that on your schedule first. Make sure it's untouchable time. So if you are taking your kiddo to you know, to a babysitter or dropping them off at the grandparents, or you know, if you're if the child is old enough and can sit and do an activity by themselves, you know, let them know that this is, you know, mommy needs 30 minutes. I'm going to set the timer. My daughter and I are huge on timers. I set timers for everything. She lives by timers because the timer separates like the decision of like, we have to transition from me to the timer. Like I would love to let you extend and keep doing whatever you're doing, but the timer says it's time to go. So we got to go. Right. So you set a timer and say, you know, when the timer goes off, you know, we can get back together and do, you know, XYZ. I like to have something fun so that they can look forward to doing that. Like we can make some cookies. But make sure that you get those things on the schedule as protected time. And everyone's self-care looks different. You know, a lot of times for me, my self-care, honestly, it's reading. I'm really protective of my reading time. I love to read. It's how I relax. For someone else, it might be going to the gym. For someone else, you know, it might be painting or putting a puzzle together or something. But whatever that is, it's just super important to, here she is. To make sure that you have support for that.
It is funny you say that because someone was asking me just the other day. There was a chat amongst some other small business owners. It was like, hey, it's the weekend. How are you guys disconnecting? And my things were, you know, put time on the calendar, make it your time because then it becomes consistent. And you will show up for it. But then, two, turn off your notifications. Either put it on vibrate, put it on silent, turn it off altogether if you can. But if you don't hear it, it becomes out of sight, out of mind. Like you just gotta walk away and just sit in silence. Like go outside, sit in silence, look at the squirrels, the chicken hawks. There was an eagle in my backyard the other day. I was like, well, actually, it wasn't an eagle, it was a hawk. Okay, so let me not lie. It was huge, though. That sucker was huge, first of all. It was knocking over stuff. It was setting off the ring alarm. I thought, holy shnikey. I think it was going like for a possum or something, but it didn't get it, so. I digress. Let's get into organization.
But real quick, I think that's really important. Not only turning off notifications, but if you can rearrange your screen, one of my great tips is to move all of those apps that are a super distraction, like to the back.
Oh.
Like take them off of your home screen and move them to the very, very back. Right? So have no notifications, no noises coming through, and then also make it a little harder to get to, so that when you first open your phone, you're not seeing that app right away. You know, you have to think about it more. And then also that's another thing that I encourage people to put on the schedule. So if you have your time to check emails, you know, I think it's called Pavlov's law, that the time it takes to do the activities will fill the time, like it'll automatically fill the time that you have. So if you have unlimited time, you can sit in your email and like scroll and go down the rabbit hole, clicking on links for forever and ever and ever. But if you only have 30 minutes in the morning and maybe 30 minutes in the evening to check email, you're going to be a lot more critical about what you open and what you just, you know, swipe and delete. Do you need to look at that ad? No. Okay. Delete, 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 and unsubscribe from accounts that don't resonate with you. Unsubscribe from emails that just are constantly bombarding you with sales or don't align with you or your family, or, you know, especially businesses. Like, how many advertisements do you need for shoes? Like, you don't buy shoes every day, right? You can set up an email. Well, okay, no, never mind.
You could. Okay, well, I'm not the shoe person. I will admit my current obsession is like wine. Yeah. And I'm trying to do better. Okay. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not trying to do better.
You can even set up an email that's just for advertisements and stuff, so that that's not coming into your email. So that when you're thinking, like, okay, I need to order some more wine, let me look and see if there's any specials going on, and then you can look to see. So then you're looking for the information when you're ready for it, instead of the information and the marketing pressuring you to purchase it before you're really ready. That's really a great way to stay in front of bringing things into your home that you don't need, which is a great segue for organization.
We always need, Claire, we always need wine, man. Like, I don't know how to say that. I just don't, like we have it. We have it. I was telling the husband a few weeks ago, I was like, this wine fridge looks empty. He's like, well, check the other wine fridge. I'm sure there's wine out there. It's like, that wasn't the answer I wanted, but I will go with that answer. Just need to move it from the outside to the inside. So let's start. So do you want to go with like your top tips for folks who feel like I can't get organized, I don't know how to get started, I'm just like overwhelmed? Like, how do you want to, like, what do you want to share with us on that?
Yeah, that I'm glad you asked, because I had two things that I wanted to talk about. So I have like my very, very top tips for organization in general. And then I also had a couple tips for spring cleaning that are unique to spring cleaning, because that's what we're in right now. So my number one, I think that my entire philosophy for getting organized can be summed up in one sentence. Does this item, yes, you're like, what? No.
I'm like,
does this item deserve a place in my life? And I think that it's really important when you say deserve a place in my life, because everything takes up space. Everything has a pull on you, whether you feel guilty about spending money on something that you didn't use, or you inherited something that you didn't really want, but it has memories attached, it's sentimental, or, you know, you collect things because, you know, you really like I was going to say bunnies, but you really do like bunnies.
I
But
really like bunnies and mugs. I got mugs. I gotta.
what if you end up having too many? You know, sometimes people collect dolls or tchotchkes or,
Hmm.
you know, whatever. And then other people know that you like those, so they buy them for you too. So then it's not just your
Yeah.
collection, it's things that people are sending you. Anyway, so when you're going through your things and you're looking at each item, like, ask yourself if that item really deserves a place in your life. Okay.
Okay.
And it applies itself even to something like like pens. You know, there are pens, there is a type of pen that I prefer above all other pens. It's the Bic round stick pen, right? And if it's
Really?
not a Bic round stick pen, yes, I have them blue and black. If it's not a Bic round stick pen, I don't like it. I don't like writing with it. It doesn't deserve a place in my life, because I think that those pens write the best. And everything else just doesn't really make me as satisfied. When I'm working with the bakers in the baking group, you know, talking about, are there certain tools that you gravitate towards in the kitchen? Are there things
Hmm.
that you like using because they're easier to handle, because they cut better, you know, mix better,
Hmm.
feel better, the weight is better, they clean up better, you know, whatever it is. But then you have backups maybe just in case. So asking yourself if
Yeah.
you know, really need those backups, and then kind of, you know, going down the line with some other questions. But I think just asking yourself if the things that you have deserve a place in your life, because everything should. Okay. And then when you're getting organized, and talking about organization specifically, because that was really kind of like summing up decluttering, which is, you know,
Yeah.
the prequel to organizing. So talking about getting organized, you know, there's information out there all over the place, like purge, sort, group like with like, you know, put it, you know, containerize it, and then, you know,
Hmm.
rinse and repeat, right? Which is all well and good. But if I grouped like with like, and I had one drawer in my house that had scissors, and that was the only drawer in my house that has scissors because all my scissors were in that drawer, they're like with like, right? But does it make sense to only have scissors in one drawer? That would be my kitchen scissors, my wrapping
No.
paper scissors, my my office scissors. Does that make sense? No. It makes much more sense to store the items where you use them, right? So obviously you want to try to keep like things together, but I think that that is underneath storing things where you use them, because you want to make sure that they are close to where they're being used so that they get back
Hmm.
home. If the home is on the
Hmm.
other side of the house, if it's out in the garage, if it's in a closet, they're not going to get put back there because it's extra work. It's extra work at the end of already doing work. So it's like, that is the worst kind of work. You're never going to put anything away if it's too hard, right? So that brings me to my second step. When you're getting organized, you want things to be easy to access, because obviously you don't want to, you know, pull down a Jenga stack of boxes trying to get to the one at the bottom, right? You want to make sure that things are easy to access, but more importantly, and most importantly, that they're easy to put away. Because if they're not easy to put away, you won't put them away, your kids won't put them away, your other family members won't put them away. They will never get put away, because it's way easier to leave them on the counter, right? It's way easier to just like leave it over in the corner on the side. And then the third most important organizing tip is to, when you're picking out places to store things, to think about your prime real estate. So prime real estate is the easiest access area, which generally, if you're talking about like counters and cupboards and stuff, is from your waist to just to the top of your fingers when you raise up your hand, without having to get a step stool, without having to bend over. Okay.
Okay.
And making sure that the items that go into that prime real estate are the most important items. Like, these are your most used every day, pull them down for nearly everything things. And a lot of times when we approach organization, we think that things have to be set up in a certain way because that's the way it's always done and that's the way everybody else does it. And I see this a lot of times, you know, in kitchen organization. We think that the big pots and pans have to be underneath and the plates and cups have to be up above, and then the food goes in the pantry. Okay.
Yeah.
But depending on the way you cook and depending on the way your family is, sometimes, and especially with the bakers that I work with, right, it could make more sense to pull the food and ingredients out of the pantry and put them in the cabinets, and then put all of the pots and pans and baking supplies in the pantry, right? So that when they walk into the pantry, they have all their pots and pans, all their baking utensils right there, and they can pull them out, grab and go. They're not having to go down here, go over here, because the way they're using their home kitchen is like a commercial kitchen, right? So it makes more sense for them as bakers to walk into the pantry, pull out all the supplies they need one time, and then have all of their baking ingredients kind of close at hand while they're making their products. So thinking outside of the box and thinking about where your prime real estate is. What do you need to have close at hand, at your fingertips, in the room to do the tasks that you need to do in that room? So with kids' toys and things like that, I definitely believe in organizing kids' toys according to their age and their skill level. Sometimes just having one big bucket, throw all the toys in, great, stack a lid on it. I'm telling you, okay?
Yeah.
It all ends up in a pile on the floor anyway, but
that it does, and the kid ends up in the box.
But also keeping in mind that if you want to have your kids help you put things away, their prime real estate is a lot lower than yours. So setting up their organization systems on their level will help them help you, pick up their toys and learn organization. Because a lot of the people that I work with, their number one confession is that they were not taught how to get organized as kids. So it starts there. It can start there. Like things were either done for them or it wasn't something that was important in their home. A lot of times either or. So
I'm trying to think how my mother was very clear. Like if our toys were out and she started sweeping, she's like, if they make it to the trash can, it goes in the trash. So we learned to pick up really quickly. Otherwise, you found your toy. You were like, holy snap, it's in the trash. You're like, wait a minute. You're digging in there, you're getting out, you're washing it out. So I don't know if that is the same thing as learning to get organized or learn to save stuff. I'm not really sure where that falls in, but I learned real quick to keep my toys off the floor. I can tell you that. We didn't have that problem.
Setting up their prime real estate on their level and having things accessible to them and wherever you are in whatever part of the home. So those are definitely my top organization tips. But we are getting into spring cleaning. So I did prepare some stuff that was just specific to spring cleaning because, there's just something there's a reason why spring cleaning is in the spring, right? Because there's just something about opening up the curtains and letting more sunshine in and just seeing everything bloom and grow that, like you said at the beginning, just makes you want to just throw it out.
Throw it out, start over, start fresh.
So the best time to purge your winter stuff is before you pack it up. Okay. So thinking about your clothes, thinking about your tools and stuff that you use throughout the winter season. What did you use this season and what did you not use? And if you didn't use it, did you use it last season? Did you use it the season before that? Is it something that you're keeping on hand, just in case, XYZ, I don't know, in case you have a big, a bunch of family come in and, my mom likes to say, don't build a church for Easter Sunday, right? So you're holding on to 16-piece Christmas place table setting in case your family ever comes over to celebrate the holidays, which they haven't for like 5 years, then it might be okay to go ahead and let some of those things go, right?
Have you been looking inside my home? Have you been peeking? because I've been going through the cabinets and I was like, some of this has to go. Like, it's not even my stuff, it's my husband's stuff. I'm going to put it out there. And I was like, he's not using it. He's not using it. He wouldn't miss it if I tossed it out. He wouldn't know. He wouldn't know. I do ask. Most of the time I ask. I do respect his space. I don't just go in there and just take stuff. Sometimes, once or twice, I sold some stuff. I didn't know it because I was like, he's not going. And he didn't even know it was gone. So clearly, out of sight, out of mind, you didn't miss it. But I do like that idea of like, do you really need it?
Yeah.
And are you holding on it for the shoulda, coulda, maybe one day we'll do blah, blah, blah.
And it's great for clothes too. What did you wear this season that made you feel good? What did you keep passing over, even though, maybe it fits, but it's the wrong color or the cut, or maybe maybe throughout the day you're kind of like adjusting,
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make you feel good. It's holding a place in your closet. Does it deserve to be there? Could you fill that spot with something better,
Oh man. Well, I did start last night. Yeah, I would tell you, I picked up a blazer because I thought I needed a blazer. And then I realized I'm not really a sort of pedal cut blazer kind of chick. And I was like, this is never going to get worn. I mean, and the tag is still on it. But it happened right before the pandemic. So I bought it, before the pandemic, and then we were working from home, and I thought, I was like, I'm not a pedal cut chick. And oh dear Lord, why did I go down that path? Is what I was asking myself. So it is, I pulled it out last night. It's going to go into the bag. It's going to go with a lot of other stuff that I have pulled out of the closet.
And you know what?
It doesn't make
Someone
sense.
is going to find that is exactly the right person that needs to have that. And
that's what I said.
And they're going to say, I can't believe someone ever would want to get rid of this.
Yes.
It's perfect for me. And so you literally just made someone's day.
Mm-hmm.
You should feel really good about that. You just made someone really happy.
if I can share a story about the dear husband, and I don't mind sharing some of his stories. When we got, so he's a military guy, and when we got together, he was still living a sort of uniform life. So he had like 21 white button-down shirts in his closet. 21, not 20, 21, because I counted. And he was like, yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said. He had everything. He's like, well, I got, I got my tops, I got my bottoms, I'm good. And I'm like, oh my. That's like, no. And so we just take half of these. There is some young man somewhere who's going to be so happy to have just a couple of these nice white button-down shirts. So can we just slide some of these out of the closet and let them go? So I think we're down to 8 or 9 now. Gwendolyn has infiltrated. We have popped in other colors. Every now and then I'll just put things on his side. And he's like, I don't wear stripes. And I'm like, you see all these stripes here? Like, like really? Seriously? So we do like to go in and sort of take things out. But people, they're like, we're holding on to stuff, and we are a society of stuff hoarders. We are a society of the more you can show, I guess. I don't know. Supposedly you have a lot of something. I'm not really sure how to really like define it, but it is a society of stuff and keeping stuff, paying rent to hold stuff.
Yes. Right?
It's like you have stuff in public stores that you don't even see, and you're paying how much a month for it? Ooh. Now, if it's temporary because you're moving or something, great. Mm-hmm. But if it's like a consistent place where you're keeping stuff that you've never seen, you might want to rethink that. Yeah. You might want to rethink, do you need anything in that public storage unit that you're paying how much for?
To be in that storage unit.
Yes. And how much money is that? Like even if we talk about what, $200 a month, that's a lot. Do you know what you can do with that money? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is the prime time to go into your closet. Yeah. I was gonna flip around this camera so you can see my foolishness back here, but I'm not gonna do it. Erica's like, that's me.
The other 2 places that are really good to go through right now is the pantry and your files. the pantry, because while you're going through doing your spring cleaning, and especially after doing all of your winter cooking and everything like that, checking your expiration dates for everything, checking the expiration dates on your spices, and just going through, stuff gets pushed to the back, and we overbuy during the holidays, and making sure that stuff isn't shoved back there, any packages. Marshmallows,
Yeah, I got cake mix, and I have a couple of pie shells, like graham cracker crust, CCC, pie shells, and then I've got. I just looked at a little can of icing, and I thought, this may be past its prep. Erica's in the shed to keep all of her stuff. You know what? We don't need to. I love the idea of a shed, but if it's going to create more room for clutter, I don't know if you need that shed.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to. I don't want to promote a place to put more clutter.
Could it be a beer shed? Could we have like a wine bar beer shed?
We can get down with that. We can get down with that. Now that will support. If we're gonna do something else with it, then we'll support that. We can make it work. I know people talk about like your car belongs in your garage, and technically it should, but my garage, because it is mine now, the husband has moved most of the stuff out. So this is Gwendolyn's garage. It is like workspace for like working out, and then photo equipment on this side, and then on this other side is like all the home improvement stuff. But other than that, it is a good. It's not going to have a car. Like the car's never going in there because I have other things to do. So, but there's carpet. There is carpet in the garage because Gwendolyn doesn't really like concrete. If I'm working out, I want to step out on carpet. I want to step out on concrete. Like I can't get down like that. But what can I tell you? I love those. It's like I got to store a grill. Oh yeah, Erica has like a huge grill and a smoker. She's like a low key chef or what have you. So okay. You deserve a shed. We are giving you the blessing to buy the shed, Erica. There you go. As if you need our blessing. But I should probably come up and help her get her photo stuff together and get all that together. I really do love those tips because you are correct. Right around time for spring, you have got a lot of stuff from the holidays that you didn't cook or you bought extra thinking you would do this grand thing like I did and didn't cook anything, didn't bake anything. And now you're thinking, is this still good? Can I still go? Can it get one more month out of it? Or even my spices. I need to check my spices too. I hadn't even thought about that. So there's a lot of areas.
And I like matching things up where they're an automatic trigger where you don't have to think about them or even put them on the schedule. So every time I do my taxes, I'm going through my file box, right? Because I'm already in my file box. I'm pulling out all my receipts, but I'll go through my other files as well and pull out stuff that I no longer need or things that if I have, save the books like instruction manuals for things, but it's available online. I don't really need to keep it. Those books are big.
They are big.
Like so I'm going through.
I'm looking at mine like, damn. This home office, man. I mean, but it's a process. So, I always say, give yourself space and grace, people, because this is not, I hate to say it, it's a marathon. And changing your habits does not happen overnight. So like picking up these new habits, that takes time and dedication. It's just going to have to be committed to it a little bit at a time. Yeah. What was that thing about eating an elephant? Like how you eat an elephant? I don't know why they even talk about eating elephants. I never understood the phrase. Like, how you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. It's like, but why are we eating elephants though? Like, I don't understand.
Why?
I don't like why. But any big project, you want to take it slowly.
Yes.
And pace yourself. So if you would, because I know we got a few minutes. If you would, if we're going to start any project, do you suggest 15-minute projects, 30-minute projects? How do you suggest getting into it?
That is really a good question. I think it depends on what it is.
I have to charge.
Okay. Okay. I'm almost done, okay? I think,
Mom,
yes.
that charge.
Okay. I know. Yeah. Yeah.
This is real life, people. This is
This
real
is
life.
real life. This is how you balance
It
business
is how you
and
balance.
motherhood in the
I'm the auntie with no kids, grandmother through marriage though. So, but you know, the
moment.
grandson is much older, so that's a good thing.
Okay. So I think it depends on what it is. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Meaning that if you are wanting to organize your whole house, right? You have to start somewhere small. Okay. And
Yeah.
there is a snowball effect, which, if you give yourself a small win, like if you organize a junk drawer or a coat closet or something small that you can do in, maybe an hour or so, that win is going to give you the energy and the motivation to be able to tackle things bigger. I think the danger having like 15-minute little projects every day is that you're only going to be tackling surface level clutter, the things maybe that got placed down that day, and you're never going to get into the deeper decluttering of going through storage boxes, because there's 15 minutes is like basically what you need to kind of, once you're organized, 15 minutes is about what you need to reset a space each day. It's not ever going to give you that really deep work that you need. You do need to set up and block off larger chunks of time because it takes a lot of thinking. There's a lot of emotions involved. There, things are not in the right room. You have to decide where is this going to go, and it takes a lot more than like 15 minutes a day. What I think 15 minutes a day is good for is like countertop clutter, bathroom countertop clutter, kitchen countertop clutter, dresser clutter, things that got set down throughout the day to reset the room. But other than that, I think you need to set aside larger chunks of time that are buffered and blocked off where, you don't have any distractions. You can put on some music. You can really get into the groove. Maybe you have a friend or family member helping you, but the kids are definitely not there, because you need to be able to focus. You need to be able to focus on what you're doing. But I do think that with that, if you were setting aside like an hour a day, or if you had it 2 hours a day, if you were able to have that amount of time, and it could be split, maybe like an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening, to work on the deeper work, then that would help you make the strides to be able to get through, everything that you had in your storage unit, in your cupboards, in your pantry, under the bed, all of those places. But it has to be a longer amount of time where you can really focus on what you're doing. And then it helps if you, one thing that does help is if you always have a box set up for donations, and you can call them. There are a lot of charities that come to pick things up for you. So it's like, as soon as the box is filled up, you can call them, they'll come pick it up, and you don't even have to, like, it doesn't take any extra time on your part to be able to deal with it. It's just like, oh, nope, bye, and get it out of there. So I hope that answered the question. Did that answer the question?
That did answer the question, because we often hear about take a little bit here, take a little bit there. It's like some of it, like what we did on Sunday, it required us both sitting down and literally going through it. Is like either stay, go, and then we had a loved one come and pick it up that day to get it out of our sight, and it's like it's gone, it is done. So you are correct. An hour is definitely the way to go. Claire. Man, thank you.
This has been wonderful.
Thank you so much.
So much. I love you, and I'm just such a fan with everything that you're doing, and just so happy whenever I see all of your photos come across my screen. I was just fangirling when you asked me to be on. I was like, what? Me? Oh, I just love you to pieces.
I can definitely say ditto. We'll do like a little ghost moment there. Ditto. So tell me this: how can people find you? And if they want to reach out and get that decluttering list that I downloaded yesterday, how can they get that?
Yes. I had it queued up. I had it queued up on my computer, but since I wasn't able to go live on my computer, I can get the link. If everyone can bear with me for a second, I can get the link and drop it in the chat. You might be staring at the underside of my chin, but we'll get it done. But the best way, because I'll be like,
we'll put it in the comments too.
yeah, put it in the comments.
Yeah. Once we post this, we'll put that in the comments.
The best way to get a hold of me right now is on Instagram.
Okay.
Send me a message, follow along. I put a lot of fun stuff up on my stories. I post weekly, at least 3 times a week, different tips and motivation and that kind of thing, because I think that your mindset around getting organized plays a huge part in helping you maintain it and keep it going. Because if you think you can't or you think you will, right? Like,
yes.
So just staying motivated about being organized. My website is currently under construction. So when we were talking a little bit earlier about like being your authentic self, and I don't know if we were talking here or if we were talking in the chat, but we were talking about being authentic. Or actually, you had a post about that the other day. We've actually been talking a lot about being authentic.
Dude, it's hitting me right now, believe it or not.
It made me think, after I started my business, I didn't really know what to do. So I had picked out some branding colors and picked out some stuff that I thought was what I wanted, but it wasn't me, right? It didn't fit in. It was kind of soft and muted. I'm like the loudest person in the room always. And it didn't really resonate. So I blew it all up. So that was one of the things that I did this year was I blew it all up. I rebranded. I decided I'm only going to do what looks good and feels good for me. So my website, clearboxclearspace.com, is under construction. It is up, but the landing page just has a contact. So you can go to clearboxclearspace.com and send me a message there, because that's the only thing that you can do. It's just send me a message there. You can find me here on Instagram. I love hanging out on Instagram. This is where I really shine and love to be. Love the community here. And yeah, that's really the best place. And then we'll put the checklist. I did put together a really great decluttering checklist with it's 8 simple questions to ask yourself while you're going through the decluttering process that will help you answer the question, does this item deserve a place in my life, right? It all comes back to that one thing, but it's not but we break it down into smaller questions and the reasoning why we're asking those questions. So it's just like having, me right there next to you, helping you make those tough decisions while you're in the moment. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah. Authenticity. Yes. I don't know. It's just really hitting me right now. But the good thing is what I love about other small business owners sharing their journey is that there are other people who are either in the same space, just went through it, or they're thinking I got to have everything done when I launch. And that just isn't true. Like, this is all about real life right here. Real life. So thank you so much for sharing all those tips. I am going to get this together. Not today, because I got other stuff to do. And then, like I said, ain't nobody coming here. So, So if you are living a life of messiness, Gwendolyn approves, because that's real talk right there. That's real talk. So I'm not going to pretend like this is all like really pretty all the time. Thank you so much, Claire. Thank you everybody for joining.
Let me get that link in the chat real quick. I'm pulling it up so I can copy it.
Sweet. I'll let you copy and paste it in there. Let you copy and paste it. And then
I think it's weird. And maybe I'm missing something, but does anybody know? And they can drop in the chat. Can you go live on Instagram from your computer? Because you can post now from your computer, but I was really
surprised. You can do a lot from there. I've never tried to go live on.
Yeah.
Never tried to go live on the computer. Yeah. I know you can post videos and you can comment and you can do other stuff, but I don't know if they turn that on. I'm not understanding why. I mean, it's got a camera. But there's probably some more things coming. Instagram, if we have to talk about being authentic, I don't know who they are or what they are from time to time. Like, I don't think they even know. Just gonna put it out there. I said it. They don't. But we use it the way that we choose to use it, and we make it work.
Yeah.
Right? But I do feel like a lot of companies, not a lot. A lot says a great deal. A handful here and there. Erica said you cannot because she also tried the last time we did her Instagram live. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. It's so bizarre. But it's funny, right? It's like they are trying to be everything for everyone, right? YouTube is this, TikTok was that, so-and-so was this, Snapchat was this. I'm going to be all of it. It's like, you should just do you. There you go. Thank you, Claire, for putting your link in there.
You got it.
Just do you, do what's true to you and show up as you and feel good about that, and don't let some of the noise make you feel as if, oh my God, I'm not doing enough, I'm not saying enough, I'm not funny enough, I'm not dancing. Gwendolyn is not dancing in front of the camera. Now I'll do a fashion walk real quick. I'll do that. Like, I'll do a runway walk. I'll do that for you. But we're not dancing.
Yeah.
Gwendolyn and her closet videos, and someone said, I like your closet videos. That's like, well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a good space for me.
That takes it right back there too. It should make you feel good. It should be fun. The moment it stops making you feel good and stops being fun, you should stop doing, because then it doesn't deserve a place in your life.
Yeah. It doesn't deserve a place. That's the way to end it. That's the way to end it. Thank you, Claire, so much. Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon. And thank you so much to everyone who joined and came out to support. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, everybody, you guys have a great day.
Bye.